What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about trade school versus college, the differences between both of them. I'm not gonna be urging anybody to choose the either or. Like, I've never been to college, so I really couldn't speak on it to an extent that would actually give anybody like some first person insight. But I have been to trade school. I've been to CDL school, and so far it has panned out very well for me. So I just want to be talking about my experience with that, some factors that need to be considered while making a decision like that, especially university, because obviously the tuition is going to be a lot more. So yeah, just higher learning in general, what is going to favor trade school or university. So yeah, just a quick little video. Let's get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with trade school here. Just an overview on what it is, and I got my slides put up to the side here, so I'm gonna be reading it verbatim, okay? So trade school focuses on specific vocational skills or trades, preparing students for particular careers such as plumbing, electrical work, culinary arts, or cosmetology. The curriculum is practical and hands-on, usually centered around the skills and knowledge needed for a specific job. It may include apprenticeships or internships. Duration programs are generally shorter than 2 years, often lasting a few months, allowing students to enter the workforce more quickly. So that always has been the big benefit of trade school. Besides the tuition, which is usually significantly lower than college, it's the time. The most, like, I think diesel mechanic is like 2 years. Being a mechanic for like big trucks, I think it's like 2 years, because you have to learn how to work on like regular automotives and then diesel engines. So it's like 2 years, but that's like kind of the max. I got my CDL within, I think, 160 hours, but it actually took like 4 months. I prolonged it because I failed the test. But yeah, it was super quick and affordable, somewhat affordable. Like $5,000. I know that's not like it's not cheap, but it's something that, if you want, you could attain it. It's definitely tangible, and the return on investment is something that is also a big factor too. So I spent $5,000, and then I've already made that with my company. And another thing is, I got hired 2 weeks out of school, right? Like literally, or like a week and a half. Like, I started applying and I got a job like that. And I feel like for the most part, that's the case with most trade schools, and some of them even have apprenticeships. So like, you're basically already on the job as you're working, right? So that has always been a big benefit of trade schools. It's going to be the time and the money. So 6 months is generally like, that's going to be, your mechanic, HVAC is 6 months to a year. And then things that are more advanced is going to be 2 years max, and obviously university undergraduate programs, most of them are lasting like 4 years, and then you're gonna have your graduate program, depending on what you're doing, it's like 1 to 7 years. I think to be a doctor is like 7, something crazy like that. But yeah, it's something to be considered. That would probably be the pro for the trade school. All right, college and university, so they offer a broader net of opportunities, so that's why there's so many different types of degrees. You're gonna have like your medical degrees, and like chemical engineering degrees, and then all the way to the other side of the spectrum where you got like your theater arts degrees like that, which honestly is like a good and a bad thing. Like, it's good that there is so many different opportunities, but the tuition, I believe, is like, it's going to be the same regardless. So you could be, obviously, if you're in some type of science field, the resources that universities have, especially like private institutions, is crazy. Like, you're gonna have access to state-of-the-art technology, labs, crazy stuff like that. But if you're doing something like like musical arts, even though you're still gonna get great resources as well, you're kind of getting the short end of the stick, because that stuff is a little bit more affordable in general. And you're gonna just be paying a high price, and you're still gonna be taking general knowledge courses, calculus, math, just like basic stuff. So that's something that also needs to be considered. Then you're gonna have your medical and your law fields. That kind of always has been like the pinnacle of universities. Is parents sending away their kids so they could get a medical degree, law degree, because that's always been where the money is at. And that still is the case, but you know, it's just like a trend that, you know, less and less people are going for those degrees and kind of just striving for other things. So yeah, that's pretty much the overview of college. So you know, it differs in the sense that it's going to take longer and it's going to be a lot more expensive, but also, you know, it's going to be the experience. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people who wouldn't take back their college time solely just for the experience, you know. Crazy stories, meeting people, lifelong friends, everything like that. And also the networking, you know, there's going to be, I don't know, on average how many people are attending college at one time. It's probably like, I don't know, ballpark maybe like over 15,000, something crazy like that. But the networking opportunities are always going to be there, especially, you know, with, you know, corporate America type fields. That is always going to be something. And then at trade school, you know, you're going to have smaller classes, you know. My class was like, there's probably like 15 people in there, if that. And they're in and out, you know. You're not really going to have time to grow those relationships. But obviously, you know, you can reach out to people afterwards, after you graduate and stuff like that. But it's not going to be the same type of ground that university is going to offer. So that's something to be considered as well. Okay, now historically, trade school is valued by blue collar workers, right? So people that kind of already have an idea of what they want to do. You know, I want to be a plumber, then I'm going to learn how to be a plumber, and then I'm just going to transfer that knowledge directly into my field, right? So in that sense, it's very it's very practical and it's very efficient as well. But historically, it's always like been believed that your profit is always going to be, you know, capped out at a certain level in comparison to university, you know, where you have like those upper echelon fields, you know, like we just mentioned, the doctors, the lawyers, like, you know, they're making 6 figures to $1 million, right? So you're not really going to get that with just a trade school diploma, unless obviously, you know, you take the entrepreneurial route, which is always there. But that's kind of always been the edge that university always has had over the trade school, even though the tuition price is there. But you know, you're gonna pay 200 grand now, but over how much are you gonna make in your career as a doctor? You know what I'm saying? It can't really be compared to something like, you know, getting a trade school diploma. But like I said, a lot of people aren't going to school to be a doctor or a lawyer, so that's something that needs to be factored in as well. But yeah, so basically a college degree was perceived as a lot more valuable economically and socially. So has that changed? I don't know. All right, coming towards the end of the video, so I just got a couple things that need to be considered when, or you should consider when you're making your decision, okay? So number one, we got the career goals. Determine what type of job you aspire to research, if typically requires a degree or it can be pursued through a trade education, okay? Number two is going to be the cost. Compare the cost of attending college versus trade school, including tuition, fees, books, and living expenses. Trade schools often have lower costs. Yeah, I heard the book fees in college are quite expensive, which is crazy because, like, don't they just get recycled? Yeah, I don't know, but that's also a big thing as well. Three, the duration of education. We kind of already talked about that. You know, the time, time is irrefundable. So that's something that needs to be determined. Do you have the time, or are you trying to make money now? Four, job market demand. Research the job market for both college educated professionals and tradesmen in your desired field. Look for job availability, salary potential, and industry growth. Industry growth is a big one as well. Plumbers, HVAC, that's always going to be there. It's always going to have that longevity. But, once you get to a journeyman, that's pretty much it from there. And then, your only option is to start your own company, which is a great option as well, especially once you gather experience. There's not, too many things you're not going to know after a certain time. College could be a little bit more dynamic, but also a little bit more dynamic. You could, you never know what you're going to get. And then where we at, flexibility and lifestyle. Consider how each option aligns with your lifestyle and personal commitments. Trade school may allow for more practical scheduling in some cases. Yeah, very true. So, night school is always an option for a lot of trades, especially like, HVAC, auto engineering. That's always going to be a big one. I did the day school, but, they're very flexible opposed to like, if you're going to school, you kind of have to base your schedule around your classes. So skill requirement, determine the skills you want to develop and whether they are better suited to a college or a trade school program. And then 10, networking opportunities, which we already kind of covered. The networking is always going to be, top notch at universities. Even if you're not attending, just like going to the conferences and stuff, but that's always going to be there. And yeah, so those are the 10 things. Make sure, you rewind it, go over them again. Those are the 10 biggest things that need to be factored into a decision. And then, yeah, probably the biggest 2 out of those are going to be the duration and cost. But yeah, man, this is a quick video. I feel like I could have been a little bit, I could have went a little bit more in depth, but it's actually a very, very hard thing to research because, without like first person experiences, like I don't know if I mentioned it, I wouldn't urge anybody to do either or, mine so far, my trade school diploma has worked out very well for me. And, I know it's vice versa with people that have gone to college, but, I would say either or is a good decision, I would never suggest, unless you have a plan, just to go directly into the workforce, entry level. It's kind of hard to move up that way without any skills to, back your value. So, yeah, just a quick video. I hope maybe you could take something out of it, but appreciate you guys for watching. I'm gonna catch you on the next one.